Okay, Israel. I hope everybody is doing well today. It's like the days are flying, man. Time is flying, and I really appreciate everybody that comes online and listens to class. Thank you very much. We're nothing without the students, and we're nothing without your humility and your willingness to grow and improve in your outlook towards the Lord. Shout out Kawakab and his congregation. Hope you all are doing well today. Kazaki, SOW Virginia, Quadsab, SOW Houston, and Zion, SOW Rochester. I hope your brothers and sisters in the camps are doing well. Hopefully, very soon we'll be having our gathering with Feast of Tabernacles, and hope to see all the least in Houston very soon. We normally congregate and spend time and bond and do all that good stuff. Today's class, you guessed it, is about correction and development done the right way, part 3. We didn't get very far last week, but I'm trying my best. I think this will be the last one. We have some classes set up for the next week, but I think it would be unfair if we don't finish this up, because there's a lot of meat here for us to grasp and hold on to. And that's why we keep going over this concept. For those of y'all who ask yourself, why is this such a repetitive topic? I guess what you guys should ask yourself is, why does the Most High have so many different verses saying the same thing? Why does the Most High have in the Bible this same theme being driven constantly with so many different verses, so many different chapters, so many different Old Testament, New Testament, Apocrypha? It's all saying the same thing. Why does the Most High provide so much layered information about outlook, about how you look at your brother, about the negative that's inside of you, the hatred that's inside of you? It might seem like overkill, but it's only overkill if you don't realize the magnitude of why it has to be overkill. There has to be a bunch of different ways to drive the same point, in hopes that all of us have mental excuses why we hold grudges. All of us have our built-in reason to hate, to look at people in the worst way. And the Most High uses different chapters, different storylines, different scenarios to kind of get us to see as many different ways as possible to help us work on how we look at our people, and how we look at ourselves, and how we look at the development of our nation, and what's the best way to bring the best out of our people. What's the best way to be a husband, to bring out the best in your wife and your children? What's the best way to be a brother, to inspire your brother to be the best he can be? There's very clear explanation in all of these different chapters. I'm sorry.
No, I 100% agree. And it's almost as the scripture says, he is the author of our salvation.
Mm-hmm.
So if he puts that same point all throughout the scriptures, then it's safe to say this might be a theme that keeps people, or one of the main themes that keeps people out of the kingdom, from getting to the kingdom.
And that's why
this theme might be one of the main hindrances of why people don't make it to the kingdom.
God.
So he has to write it so many times in the spirit of trying to save people
God.
as much as he can.
So if it feels like overkill, just understand, when you read the Bible, the entire mess in the Bible is overkill. You'll sit back and read about love, mercy, humility, long-suffering, and you just keep hearing it. There's a reason for that. So, without constantly talking anymore, let's do this. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 1 through 3.
Okay. 1 Corinthians 14 and 1. Following after charity.
Follow after charity. So what is Paul saying? He's like, one of the key messages and the key components to being a good teacher, being a good brother, being a good sister, being a good person is charity. But this is the tricky thing about charity. We like to be charitable the way we want to be charitable.
Yeah.
Some of us are charitable with our bodies. He's like, one of the key messages. I'll wait for that.
Come on, man.
So, what does that mean? What does it mean when I say giving our bodies? What we'll do, we'll sit back here. Some men will work all day long for their brother. Will work, enslave, and consider in the physical. And that's their quote-unquote love language. right? Because when you sit back and think about charity, what is charity? Charity is nothing but how you show love. And how you show love, by definition, is your love language. The problem is, just because you show love in the preferred love language you choose to, it doesn't mean that that is the preferred love language for the brother that you need to show love to. Because I know a lot of people that'll give the shirt off their back for their brother, but don't know how to talk to their brother at all. So their lack of communication skills, their hateful talking, damn near nullifies the fact that they took the shirt off their back for you. Am I right or wrong?
No.
And then we'll sit back here because we show love the way we want to show love. We expect you to look past the negativity and the hateful way I display my conduct outside of the fact that I just took the shirt off of my back to help you out. We do that all the time. But that, once again, I'm only bringing that out just for us to be conscious of how you show love.
So it's not my preference.
Yes. Or what you're good at.
We're dealing with preferential.
Because a brother will spend money. Sometimes sisters will spend money.
Yeah.
Or sit back and be kind and give a ride. But does that mean that you're giving that person what they need to feel loved? No. That's a major problem. But once again, that's not the purpose of the class today. I just want to kind of throw that out there with charity.
That even deals with parenting.
You have to follow after charity in the way that the person needs to receive the charity.
Come.
That's what makes you a good servant versus a bad servant. I have to come out of myself long enough to understand what type of charity I got to give to this child. What type of charity I have to give to this brother or this sister. How do I have to show them love? Because a lot of times we miss the boat giving people what we think brotherhood is in our mind.
True.
Giving sisters what we think sisterhood is in our mind, and then being upset that how I deem and process sisterhood isn't appreciated to a person that doesn't look at sisterhood that way or brotherhood that way.
Years ago, we had a brother. He thought brotherhood was drinking, and
that was an entire generation of brothers.
That was a whole generation of men. But there's a point
and
where
the only way you can show brotherhood is to go to the club and drink alcohol with you.
Yeah, but when a brother has a liver issue and his skin's turning white, he could die, and so you have to make a decision. I can't drink with you no more. It was taken as if we don't love this brother or we're not being brothers. And he said that.
He did.
But at the same time, your livers, you have whatever they call it, the liver.
Yeah.
Cirrhosis of the liver.
Yes.
We can't show love this way. This is not the way we can show love anymore. I was very young.
And I want you to, yeah, that's true. But I guess I'm not driving the point in that way because we couldn't show love the way he wanted. But we can show brotherhood and sisterhood the way people need it. We just choose not to do it because it makes us uncomfortable, and we like to give what we want to give. Some people like to gift.
Yeah.
I'll gift you something, but don't ask me to be respectful. Don't ask me to listen. Don't ask me to choose my words properly. But I will gift my tail off. Isn't that Israel?
Yeah.
So there's something to consider about the charitable side. But Paul is saying, follow charity. Read on.
1 Corinthians 14:1. Follow charity and desire spiritual gifts.
So then he said, our goal in the process of following after charity is to learn how to desire spiritual gifts. This is important because why does Israel do spiritual things in the first place? A carnal return. We do good works in return for carnal relief, carnal blessings, carnal rewards. He said that's not what our focus should be in our process of pursuing the Heavenly Father. If we don't learn, I was counseling earlier today about what determines a good day and a bad day. Every day is a what?
Good day.
Every day should be a what?
Same day.
Every day should be a good day if you're looking for spiritual gifts. If you're trying to abound in patience, if you're trying to abound in long suffering, trying to abound in mercy, discipline, humility, love, meekness, discipline. If I truly desire spiritual gifts, then the Most High every day is willing to give to me liberally and freely as much as I'm willing to embrace the spiritual opportunities that are presented in front of me every single day. But we don't think that way, do we? We walk around life looking to get something out the deal. And if we don't get something out the deal, then all of a sudden our purposes and our happiness and our intentions fall down in the dumps.
Disappointed.
We're disappointed because what we really wanted was a reward, a cookie.
Yeah.
Versus realizing that we should be desiring spiritual gifts, not carnal gifts. We're going to hold this. We're going to be going back to 1 Corinthians 14 for a little bit. Hold this. Now go to the next man. Psalms chapter 27 and verse 4. We're getting somewhere with this, I promise you. Psalms 27 and verse 4.
Psalms chapter 27 and verse 4 reads.
That was quick. What you got? Hold on, no, let me get there. I'm almost there. Read that.
Psalms chapter 27 verse 4 reads, one thing have I desire of the Lord.
He says there's only one thing that David desired of the Lord. And this is something, don't forget, David was a man after who? So he's like, if we want to sit back here and be one with the Lord, then it would be wise for us to think like he thinks. He said, one thing have I desired of the Lord. Read on.
That will I seek after.
He says, this one thing that I want is what I'm pushing for and seeking for all the days of my life. Read on.
That I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life.
What does that mean? Does that mean that he physically wants to be in the temple every day, next to the showbread, next to the candles, the candlesticks? Is that what that means? He says, every day of my life, my one desire from the Lord is that I stay in the spiritual mind that he has presented for me. If that's all we want every day, guess what?
It's phenomenal.
Every day is phenomenal. If that's all we want. This is why we go to class every day. This is why we commit ourselves every day to class. So we commit ourselves to work with like-minded individuals, because what we should be working ourselves to, what we should be developing our minds to get to, is to only want in our heart is to be in the same spirit the Most High wants us to be in. We have to learn for our goals to be that type of thinker. And until we get to that point, are we really secure in our pursuits and our standing with the Most High?
We're not guaranteed.
You know what kills me? Because most of us live every day to get a break. We do all of our work every day to find an escape. Am I right or wrong? We work every day to get home, to not be home. What I mean is this. A lot of us go home and don't look at home as rest. You know why we don't look at home as rest? Because to a lot of us, home is work. That's the point. Home is work. Work is work. Guess what? We don't like work. Even though the work we do should be the most gratifying thing that we bring to the table every single day in our life. But have we learned? Have we matured to the point that our service towards one another is what we should be at peace with and fulfilled with? The answer is no. And that's how you know how detached we are and you are from the Spirit. Because when David is breaking down these Psalms, he's making it very clear why he was the most beloved, why his heart was like the Most High's, and why David was the prototype and the standard of how we should act until we got to Christ. Am I right or wrong? Because at the end, the prophecy said that David was going to be our king.
Yeah.
Right?
Why was that?
Why was David the prototype of what we should all look up to? Because of how he thought.
Yeah.
That's why he was a prototype. And Christ became the greater prototype because of how he thought on a greater level. Yeah. So, if David thought like this, you don't think that's what Christ thought? Of course it was. David's thinking was the only thing he desired was to be in the same spirit like you are in the temple. We can use it that way. When you're in the temple, read that verse again. Verse 4.
Psalms chapter 27 and verse 4 reads, "One thing I have desire of the Lord, that will I seek after."
There's one thing that I'm desiring, that I'm seeking after on a daily basis. Read on.
"That I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life."
Let's bring it about a different way. When you're in class, and when you're locked into class, don't you feel like Teflon in the spirit? When you're clearing the mind, and you can see the message, you can hear the message, and you're engaged in class,
So bulletproof.
don't you feel bulletproof? Don't you feel spiritually bulletproof?
Yeah.
Why? Because there's no distractions. You're not stressing out on bills. You're not stressing out on dinner. You're not stressing out on all the things you got going on in your life. The only thing that matters is what the message is, what class is about, and extracting everything you can about what you need in class. So what is David saying now? He's saying the same thing. When he is in the temple, giving up his sacrifices, doing everything ritually the right way for the Most High, that's when he's the most beamed in, locked in, connected. The problem happens after the 3-hour class is done or the 2.5-hour class is done. Then what happens? That spiritual high starts to diminish. That bulletproof nature starts to dissipate. Then all of a sudden, the lust kicks in. The doubt kicks in. The pride kicks in. The fear kicks in. The insecurities kick in. And the only thing that strengthens you is returning back to the what? The temple. The house of the Lord. It's no different than back in the day. Our confidence wasn't in our servitude. When we went to war with nations, what was our confidence? It was literally the Ark of the Covenant. When we had the Ark, we thought the Most High was with us.
We're gonna win.
That was our protection. So we thought this traveling box with gold around it was the Most High. But the Most High is with us if we're locked into Him. And David understood that. So David's desire was to do his best to recapture the spirit he's in at the schoolhouse or the temple and take that mentality every other place in his life. And if you can do that, that was the only thing that David wanted in his life. Why is that important? Because it takes that level of energy and focus to only want that. To be potent, that's got to be your only focus in general, in anything in life. If you're going to be successful in something, whatever you're shooting for has to be the only thing that matters. Yeah. So what David says, the only thing that matters is his fight to take on that spiritual mindset that he has at the temple and take it everywhere else in his life. That's what it's about. And that's what Paul is explaining in our pursuit of spiritual gifts. Because when we're sitting back here fighting to get spiritual gifts, it's the process of every day I'm working on adding something, adding a mental clarity, adding something spiritual to my ornament so I can be potent down the line and be in a better spirit in the name of the Lord everywhere I go. Keep going.
To behold the beauty of the Lord.
Because in order to behold the beauty of the Lord, you have to carry on that mindset everywhere you go. Read on.
And to inquire in his temple.
But what are people inquiring about in the temple?
Good question.
What should people be inquiring about when you're in the temple of the Lord? How to seek salvation, how to fight this lust of the flesh, how to overcome this pride, how to overcome this doubt, how to sit back here and defeat whatever lust that's on your mind, whatever pride that's in you. That should be the only focus. So what he's saying is, I'm trying to extract the mentality of what you're supposed to be in the temple and take it home with me. What's the problem with the Jew when they get home? They take off their Jew suit,
Yep.
and put on their nigga track suit.
Yep.
Their Adidas suit. They put on an Adidas suit when they get home. What's your favorite color? All red? All blue? You get that? You wear that black with that with the matching Kango? Silk is chilling. What more can I say? Top billing. You gonna put your nigga suit on when you get home, What am I trying to explain? We act different when we get home. We operate different away from the temple.
Now it can be me.
Huh?
Now it can be
That's
me.
my point. You ever see years ago that meme when the black bear gets home from work,
Oh, yeah.
he takes off his white bear suit out? Now he can be a black bear. In the real world, he's wearing that white bear suit. I'm a polar bear in the real world. When I get home, I'm really a black bear. Black bears aren't accepted in the polar bear country. That's the truth. But that's what we do in the spirit.
Yep.
A lot of us act different when we're at home.
We're not consistent.
And this is how a person pursues spiritual gifts. You pursue spiritual gifts by taking the mentality that you have attained at the school or at the temple and fight every day of your life to bring that to every other phase of your life. That's how you can learn to stay in the spirit and to learn to behold the beauty of the Lord. Because why would you switch how you operate and think unless there's parts of serving the Lord that you don't deem beautiful, that you don't deem comely? That's why people don't act the same when they get home, because they really like worldly ways in a more superior fashion than the pursuit of what? Godly traits. Mm-hmm. So what made David potent is his willingness to, in every phase of his life, to operate like he would be at the temple. That verse hits. I don't care what anybody say. That's how we're supposed to push for spiritual gifts. Okay? Let that go and go to Psalms chapter 40, verse 6 through 9.
Psalms chapter 40, verse 6.
Yep, I'm ready.
Psalms chapter 40, verse 6. Sacrifice and offering thou didst not desire.
Now David is like saying, all this killing of animals, when you go to the damn temple, the focus shouldn't just be killing animals and having your conscience be off the hook because you sacrificed an animal.
I gave you what you want.
That's the point. I gave you what you wanted, so let me go home and live my life. That wasn't the desired mentality when you go to the temple. You were supposed to go to the temple, give up your sacrifice, and figure out why you keep failing.
Why did I have to give this sacrifice?
And then why did I give the sacrifice? And what is it in me that makes me keep failing to where I got to bring the sacrifice? There was supposed to be additional understanding pursued in during that time. Do you think there was only one priest there on deck at the temple? There was an entire group of priests operating and working with the people. You had the workers, you had the porters, and you had people giving answers and solutions. What do you think the sacrifice day was about? It was about sacrificing and getting counsel and getting answers to your problems, your spiritual problems. That was what the arena was about. So David's saying killing animals and sacrificing was not what it was about. Read on.
No, it says, mine ears hast thou opened.
Why is David saying, my ears, my eyes, you've opened? Why was David so far ahead of the rest of the pack? Because he understood it wasn't about the routine. Because isn't this what Paul ended up saying? Wasn't about killing animals? It wasn't about killing animals. It's not about killing animals now for the Passover. What was it really about? David was ahead of his time because he understood it was more to it than just killing animals and giving burnt offerings. Read on.
Burnt offering and sin offering hast thou not required.
He said, what good is constantly coming back to the temple to give sin offerings? Why don't you just ask the priest how not to sin? Why don't we go to the temple, go to the schoolhouse, and ask the right questions? We don't come here to ask the right questions. We come to this, listen, Israelites and people alike, they come to the school, they come to their churches, they go to their synagogues to get emotionally let off the hook. That's why we go to the school. We go to the school to get let off the hook, not to figure out how to change our sick, filthy habits. And what David is like saying, Most High's opened my ears because I understand that it's just the sheep. We're just operating like sheep, going through a routine. It's like going to the grocery store. We just go through our routines, kill animals, make sacrifices, go home. But nobody's taking it to the next step. A lot of times we go to class, get the message, feel better about ourselves, and then go home. Or we'll go to class, get cut, tell ourselves we got cut. So now that gives me an opportunity to go back home and live my life. What good is getting the cut, getting the correction, without learning why? And without receiving strategy on how to overcome what's inside of you. And unless you make the decision that you want to learn how to be in the same spirit at home like you are when you're in the temple, you're spinning your wheels. Does that make sense? This is how you learn to not make the truth just religion. Just a religion. And just going from high to high. Physical high, mental stimulation to mental simulation. And this is another reason why we keep pounding topics. We can sit back here and just flip topics and topic flip all day long. But are we going to get the message? Is the message going to stick and resonate? Hell, it might not even stick now. We did the whole damn summer of malignant root. And Israel is still malignant rooting. We are still malignant rooting on a daily basis. It's the truth. But hopefully, if we keep drawing it out, maybe it will spark something in us to fight. But once again, David's showing us, Paul is showing us the key to getting a grasp of defeating what's inside of you. We have to learn how to extract the spiritual mindset we get from coming to the temple or the school and learning how to duplicate that in every other aspect of our life. Because you and I know, when you're in the schoolhouse, your mind is clear. But when you're alone in your room and you stare at the walls, in the back of your mind, you got negative rhymes going through your head. Yeah. Negative thoughts, negative feelings, negative emotions that you can't control. Then you got to ask yourself, how come I can't control the negative thoughts here, but I can control them at the school?
Great question.
That's the truth. How can you control your lust here in the house of the Lord, but you can't control them at home? And if you can figure that out, now you can start bringing the Spirit home to you. Now you can make it more about change than the routine of just sacrificing your animal or coming up to the schoolhouse to get that high, temporary high, and then falling backwards to get it home. Let's continue. In Psalms 40.
Verse 7.
Just give me verse 6 again from the top.
Psalm chapter 40, verse 6. Sacrifice and offering thou didst not desire. Mine ears hast thou opened. Burnt offering and sin offering hast thou not required.
Mm-hmm.
Then said I, Lo, I come. In the volume of the book it is written of me.
Okay, so listen. Where do you think Paul was getting pulling all those examples from? Because didn't Paul say the same thing? Lo, I come in the volume of the book. Yep. Paul is extracting a lot of his message from the understanding he realized David had. He just sat back here and elaborated on the spirit he knew David was in and enhanced the doctrine off of David's writing and David's understanding. Because what is David telling us in Psalms? Man, the Most High's opened my mind in a way that a lot of people haven't caught on yet. So all Paul did, he didn't change things up. The Bible is in the volume of the book. So Paul is just sitting back here writing in the volumes of Psalms and Proverbs and extracting that and making the New Testament. Just so you think, just in case you think that what Paul's message was any different than the rest of the Bible, it wasn't. Let's continue.
Verse 8. It says, I delight to do thy will, O my power. Yea, thy law is within my heart.
Why? Once again, the law is in David's heart. Isn't that what Paul was teaching? The law is in how you think and operate. And the law being in your heart has nothing to do with getting caught up in these routines and these rituals that people identify as righteousness. This is the spirit that David was saying and what the Hebrew community was caught up on.
And you know how it's true. Because Israel won't be happy until high holy days.
I know.
That's how you know it's true.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't true, you'd be happy all the days.
Yeah. Israel, you saying Israel loves beer on a high holy day now?
Israel loves
And wine.
They love celebratory moments, ceremonial moments.
They like when people say, Kwame Shala, everybody says it at the same time. Israel does go crazy. There is a euphoric feeling.
And I'm not mad about it. The problem is, I always say, you always say you can't do that.
You give them the percentage. You give them percentage.
No, not percentage. I'm like, okay, that's cool. We just did this. How long to start tripping and flipping again? You see, not let people feel good. You gotta let people feel good for the.
I say that.
I say,
give them their cake. They want the cake. Give it to them, man.
We're eating good lamb. We got some beer.
Let a cake, and the Jew just enjoy the lamb, man. Let them enjoy it.
And everybody's joyful. But the question is,
you and I know what's going on. You and I know what's about to happen a month later.
Yeah, 2 weeks to a month. Where is yours? Are you gonna study after that?
No, they didn't study then. So what's the difference?
And we gotta work on that.
And that's the point. The studying, the introspection,
and the joy,
the figuring out what it takes.
Yeah.
Why can a Jew find happiness in gatherings and not at home? If we're honest, it's because we don't love serving the Lord, and we don't find value in pursuing spiritual gifts. That ties us back to the point. If you love pursuing spiritual gifts, then you can sit back here and learn to stay in the spirit everywhere you go. It takes many years, a lot of times, for Israelites to learn to value spiritual gifts, discipline, humility, long-suffering, mercy, love, because that's what we should learn to love. But what we'll do, we'll love the gatherings, we'll love the high holy days, and there's nothing wrong with that, but we use that to mask fixing what's really inside of us. That's all we do. So, with that being the case, David was really, really, really dropping it here. Let's get verse 9.
Psalm chapter 40, verse 9. I have preached righteousness in the great congregation. Lo, I have not refrained my lips. O Yahweh, thou knowest.
Think about this. David preached righteousness in the congregation, but he also said the law was in his heart. What did the Jew feel righteousness was based upon? Gatherings and how rigid they were in the law. But part of that rigidity in the law was in their sacrificing.
There's a confidence in technicality.
But that's the point, the technicality. But yes and no. Because David was like saying, listen, I preach righteousness, but I also understood that righteousness was not predicated on acting a certain way at the temple and not living it. Or being ultra focused on these technical things and not working on what's inside of you. He's explaining what type of righteousness he was pushing. He was teaching people at the temple how to find happiness, how to extract that spirit that we're tapping into in the temple and taking it home. He was saying that process was the pursuit of righteousness. That's what David was saying. Where everybody else was saying righteousness is about how technical you are on the law. Once again, I'm just bringing this out because this is tying in with 1 Corinthians 14 and 1. He said we should be desiring spiritual gifts. Because that is what the pursuit should be. Working on myself, working on my humility, my discipline, my long suffering, all that stuff that you can work on at home, at work, amongst brothers and sisters. And if that's what you love, like David said, now you're going to have a chance to be closer to the Lord's love. Are there any questions so far on that? Are we clear on that? Okay. The funny thing is that there's a lot of depth in the most simplest statements. We said that we just keep digging there. But let that go and let's jump back to verse 1 in 1 Corinthians 14.
1 Corinthians 14 and 1. Ready?
Yep.
Follow after charity and desire spiritual gifts.
So we should follow after giving for free and pursuing spiritual gifts. Because really, if we're going to think about it, spiritual gifts is all predicated on the idea of giving for free and not getting anything back in the flesh. That's why charity and the pursuit of spiritual gifts go hand in hand. Because the process of giving and learning how to get spiritual gifts is all about destroying that ego that we talked about last week. It kills the ego and it continues to train us in the spirit of giving without expecting anything back. And if we can tap into that, because hell, what is to abound in long suffering? What the hell does that mean? Because that is a fruit of the spirit. To abound, to grow in suffering for a longer period of time without snapping at somebody. That literally is a spiritual gift that we have an opportunity to focus on every day, on the mark moving and on the mark delivering. and we'll be counsel on the weekends and on the weekdays and at home. That should be what we should find value in. Another fruit of the spirit is
Peace.
Communication.
what's that?
Peace.
Yeah, peace. Listen, what is to abound in peace? The only way you can abound in peace is when there is more chaos around you. You know you're growing when there's nothing but chaos around you, and you still don't react to the chaos. That lets you know your stress tolerance level has improved. You have grown in your capacity to handle the stress of other people without snapping back and destroying everybody around you. But if you're not doing that, you ain't growing. You're not growing in Christ like people think they are. Because they'll sit back here and they say, I'm going to class, I love the Lord, but are you fixing the things you got to fix? For the Most High to say, yeah, you're growing? No. This is why it's so important to understand what the pursuit of righteousness is. Can I take the mindset I have in the school and bring it to my house? Can I sit back and, you know what the most frustrating thing in the world is for men? Is when their wife is at the school and they're the most saintly of the saints. So they're curtsying, shalom.
Tease my Lord.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. You know damn well you don't talk at that tone when you get home.
Shalom.
There's no shalom at the house. There's no shalom at the house. Are you serious? There's no. How come you're different? You're the most Hebrew princess name in the world at the school, and at the house you're a dragon.
What?
And it's the same thing with brothers.
Yeah.
That's the point. And this is what David is saying. This is what Paul is saying. That issue is what should give your 100% focus if you want the Most High's attention. So, with that being the case, the charity and the desire for the spiritual gifts works on developing you to learn how to find happiness in giving. Because most of us who are unhappy, we're unhappy because we hate to give. We're unhappy. We're depressed. There's a chemical imbalance. This chemical imbalance is there because I'm selfish. There it is. There's a chemical imbalance because in my head, I think I should be getting more out the deal than everything that I have to disseminate and dish out. My dishing out ratio to getting back ratio is low as cuss. But that means you are spiritually immature for the blessings the Most High has given you. This is why people be sneaking out, making runs. I gotta clear my head. What does that mean? I gotta go clear my head. So alcohol clears your head? I thought alcohol fuzzies your head. But right or wrong?
Yeah.
Why do people get alcohol to clear their mind? That's not how you clear your mind. Huh? You're trying to dirty it. You're trying to get yourself a reward. You want a reward for the little good you did today.
They say biologically when you drink alcohol that the cortisol is temporarily relieved, which is the stress hormone.
Yeah.
Then they say after that, everything else you're twice as sensitive to. So you have
Because it doesn't involve alcohol. That's why.
after you got that first
That bump.
there is a calming factor. But see, after that, the week after that, everything is double the intensity.
Yeah.
Chemically.
But it's the same thing with food, because you might not be a drinker of alcohol, but there's that same chemical release, that dopamine release.
Yeah.
When you're looking for escape, you get some sweets.
Yeah.
You're looking for escape, I'll get some bad food, because that bad food will give me that dopamine or that escape that I'm looking for.
And then when you make a habit of eating bad food, all of a sudden you're sick.
Yeah.
Then your back hurts. Then your body's on
You
fire.
can't sleep at night.
Then you can't sleep at night. Then you got sleep apnea.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know what's wrong with me. What's going on with my body?
It's a tough one,
Yeah.
These are all real things that you do because you overindulge the flesh thinking that that's a break. When we overindulge the flesh, what we're saying is, I just don't like doing God's work. And the repercussion of me not liking to do God's work is that I have to overindulge in carnal things to balance out
Yeah.
my
Ratio.
spiritual ratio to good, to getting something out the deal ratio.
Flesh to spirit. Yeah.
That is a real thing that Israel faces.
It's a real thing.
And all that means is we don't love God as much as we think we do. Because if we love God, we can do good works and not want something back in return like we always do. That's how you know you have more studying to do, more analyzing, and more reality checking about your life. And this is what Paul is trying to explain. The love of pursuing spiritual gifts and selfless acts, which go hand in hand. Read on.
And desire spiritual gifts, but rather that ye may prophesy.
But he says you're supposed to pursue the spiritual gifts and you're supposed to pursue charitable works. So one day you can be in a position to prophesy. That's the purpose of all the self-work you're supposed to go into. So what he's telling you is everything you do in this work should be for the purpose of having the capacity to prophesy. Let's go to the Blue Letter Bible to explain prophecy. Blue Letter Bible, prophecy. And we're going to go to the same verse. This is go to 1 Corinthians 14, verse 1. We're going to find the prophecy word. And we're going to go to D-I. The letter D, letter I or 1. Whatever the hell. It's I or 1. So that's what, you letter D and then go to I.
Prophecy. Blue Letter Bible. Point number D.
No, D, I just want the I part.
It's the I part. It says, under like prompting.
Under like prompting.
Under like prompting. It says, to teach, refute, reprove, admonish, comfort others.
He said, what our intention that we should be working for every day, serving the Most High, is to gather the Spirit to prophesy. But to be specific, we should be getting up every day, learning this information, studying this information, working on fixing and developing spiritual gifts, and learning charitable actions with the intent to prophesy. But to be specific, with the intent to teach, refute, reprove, admonish, and comfort one another. Refute is to sit back here through all of your commitment to fixing what's inside of you, with all of your commitment in learning charitable actions, you can teach people and refute their negative, piss-poor way of looking at things. This is why you work on what's inside of you. This is why you fix what's inside of you. But a lot of times this kind of kills Jew glory. This destroys Jew glory. Because you're supposed to sit back here and do everything in this knowledge with the express intent to give, admonish, correct, and to comfort the people around you. It kind of goes against the idea we were supposed to get knowledge and information to cut people, to check and destroy people. It kills that spirit. But the goal is to kill that spirit in you so that the person that you're teaching isn't a wild beast either. Because if I'm talking to you with respect and I'm trying to comfort you, why should there be yelling and cussing and disrespect coming back to me? And then when that happens, then when the disrespect comes back to me, then it won't be tolerated. It won't be accepted. And then there's no place in that in this realm. If you are blameless in how you talk to people and how you communicate to people and the intent behind the message that you're bringing out to the people that you're responsible for. Once again, all I'm trying to explain through the Bible's lenses is that we're supposed to work on what's inside of us, work on developing spiritual gifts, work on our charity, so we have the capacity to do what? Be a better teacher, or so we can be a better, we can prophesy. That's what we're doing it for. And to be specific on prophesying, we're supposed to work on our inner man, work on what's inside of us so we can teach, refute, reprove, admonish, and comfort other people. So once again, why are we hearing the truth in the first place? Why were you taught the Bible in the first place? Why did you sit back here? This should be the answer to the why am I here? Why did God bring me here? You were brought here so that you would learn the lessons you were supposed to learn, so you'll be able to commit it to other people and serve other people by teaching, counseling, and development.
Yep.
That was the answer. And if that's what we were created and chosen to be, why are we angry that we got to give? Why are we angry that we got to sit back here and teach when we get home? Why are we angry that we got to give to the people around us every single day?
I don't want to do it.
That means we don't want to sit back here and fulfill what we were called to be. Because in a nutshell, he's saying that we were called to be selfless.
And blameless.
Selfless and blameless.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could you give that list again?
Of prophecy?
No, why we're here. To teach.
Okay, well, there you go. It's all you got to do. You can go in that blue letter Bible, if you have it.
Okay.
And when you go to 1 Corinthians 14:1, you push the button. But not push the button. Yes, you do push the button. Like Psalm 1 says. You push the word prophesy.
Okay.
And when you go to prophesy, you'll see the letter D. Then you'll see the letter I right under it. When you deal with prophecy, it says under like prompting to teach, refute, reprove, admonish, and comfort others. We were created, we came into this knowledge, and everything we learn, everything we're learning, all the spiritual gifts we are acquiring, we were supposed to take these spiritual gifts, not use it for ourselves. Now, it benefits us, but we're supposed to use it with the intent to do what? Give and spread and help and develop other people. This lets you know why the work is so important, why working together is so important, why it's so important to get this knowledge and be a living sacrifice for one another, because that's what we were called to do. It's not any deeper than that. If we really grasp this concept, then you realize it's not about you at all. And it's not about what you're getting at all, unless what you're getting is building your spirit up so you can give it to other people.
Not about us. It was about Christ.
It was about Christ.
That was it.
And this is the thinking we're supposed to have in the midst of counseling, working with people. And this is what it takes to destroy that malignant root. Because that malignant root is all about what? That sensual, devilish aspect of us that only cares about satiating itself, fueling their emotion, fueling their pride, fueling their hatred, fueling their justification to hate. Because what is the Most High saying? I don't have a justification to hate nobody. I don't have a justification to spew negative to people. I don't have the justification to sit back here and focus on the worst in the people around me. I don't have a justification for that. Because if I'm going to do that to people, then what is the Most High going to do to me?
Return the same.
If I want to have judgment on how wicked somebody is, and I want to overly scrutinize how wicked people are, then guess what the Lord's going to do to you? Let's see how bad and wicked you are then. If you want to look at people and say how bad they are, then let the Lord look at you that same way. If I don't want to sit back here and have the Most High look at how messed up I am. So I'm going to fight my tail off to see the good in people. Because if I can't see the good in people, I'm going to be judged how I judge people. And that's facts. Yeah.
Yeah. Matthew 7 and verse 2 through 4. This is the scary. This is one of the scariest scriptures in the Bible to me.
I know.
This is the
You
scariest.
said Matthew what?
Matthew chapter 7 verse 2
Through what?
through 4.
Okay, cool.
That's the scary scripture.
Yeah.
Just a couple of them.
Let's just go there because we got a lot to go. Yes.
Matthew
Hold
7
on.
and 2.
Keep
Matthew
reading.
chapter 7, verse 2.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
For with what judgment ye judge,
So everybody's responsible for their judgment, because this is speaking to all the nation. This is speaking to all the Israelites, every tribe. What judgment or perspective that you what?
So
Judge.
what does that mean? That means everybody has an individual criteria of what they think brotherhood is. Everybody has an individual criteria what they think love is. They have an individual criteria of what respect is, what good nature is. Everybody in their mind has an idea of what brotherhood and sisterhood is, right? So read that from the top.
Matthew 7 and 2. For with what judgment ye judge,
So however scrutinous you are about what your expectations are for a brother or a sister or a person, however emotionally fueled you are, critical you are about how people act towards you and how people make you feel. Read on.
for with what judgment ye
Is
judge,
this in red?
Yeah.
So that means Christ is saying it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Read on.
for with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged.
He's letting you know if you're that overly critical about how negative people are, then all the Most High is going to do is just be overly critical about how negative you are. The same way you're critical, he's going to be critical on you. So if you can sit back here and when you look at a human being,
Be disgusting.
and the first things that pop up in your head is how evil they are. And it is very difficult. You sit back here and you see more evil about a person than good. Then guess what God's going to do to you? He's going to sit back here and focus about how evil you are. And that's going to be more prevalent on the Lord's mind about how evil you are than the good you do.
But the B hits. The B part hits.
All this hits. All this gets you squirming.
Well,
All this makes you uncomfortable.
This is the scary part right here. The B
So
part.
once I just want to bring this up. So this is even for sisters.
Yeah.
So if you want to sit back here and set up a laundry list of how evil your husband is,
Cool.
and how bad of a husband he is, and how he pisses you off and you can't stand him, just know God's doing the same thing to you and seeing how bad of a woman you are, and how bad of a wife you are, and how bad of a servant you are. That's how the Most High mirrors us. You want to be a scrutinous person about authority, then He's going to scrutinize you. If the first, second, third, fifth, 20th thing that pops in your head is how evil a guy is, then he can give you 100 reasons about how evil and filthy you are.
This is the B part. Read.
God.
What you're saying.
You got it.
And with what measure?
Stop. Measure means how you judge someone, but in a more detailed, meticulous way.
Yep.
I'm measuring you according to how I feel.
Yep.
I'm measuring, so I respect you based off of my opinion. I'm measuring how much of a man I think you are, how much of a sister I think you are, how good of a wife I think you are.
Husband.
I'm measuring how good of a husband I think you are. I'm measuring how I think you're a brother or not according to my personal measurement. The Bible's called the rod, but we put our own personal opinion and measure people. We don't measure people according to the scriptures. We measure people according to how we feel, which is the rod, our personal rod, not Christ's rod.
Yeah.
So what measure you what?
And with what measure ye meet.
Stop. That's the part people don't pick up. M-E-T-E. It's an old word. But the word meet means to measure, deal out, or dispense. To dispense. The measure you dispense or project on someone else. Read.
Well, you got to explain that. What that means is, if I don't think you're a brother, then I'm going to show you how I don't respect you. I'm going to show you how I don't respect you with my words. I'm going to degrade you. I'm going to talk down on you. I'm going to disrespect you. I'm going to sit back here and bring you down 4 or 5 pegs in my eyes. And I'm going to look at you and think of you low. I'm going to say words that make you feel low. That's how a person measures you and meets you. He sits back here. You know, Israel is very good at knocking you down a bunch of pegs and disrespecting you and looking down on you. Most High, we are great at that. But however you do that to people, read on.
Read.
And with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you. Again.
Read that point again.
And with what measure ye meet,
Just the last part.
it shall be measured to you again.
It shall be measured to you again. That means you're creating your circumstance. Your life circumstance, people don't get this. Your entire life scenario and circumstance is a combination of all the interactions you have with people. Most High collects all of your social interactions. He collects all of your transactions with people. And then he custom tailors a life for you.
And he custom tailors how people deal with you the same way. Meaning, this is why you can't get jobs. This is why you lose jobs. This is why life is always hard on you.
Lose relationships.
This is why people sit back here and lose relationships in the world. This is why people sit back here or are in jail. This is why they have to face jail time. This is why they sit back here and have so many negative things happen to them, because this is how you look at people. So God's just giving you a reflection in your life how hateful and negative you are.
Because certain people drive their vehicles and they get no traffic tickets. And life's pieces of cream. I can't drive the street without getting 10 cops. I see them. I know. I know. I've been tripping. I said, oh man. As soon as the cop is behind us, I know I've been tripping. So I think about all my saying, same cop like, you did this, you did this, you was negative as hell.
There used to be brothers, literally, when there was a cop, they would do Mission Impossible drives. Like, they're going down dark alleys, they're going down all kind of streets. Like,
Listen,
why are you going down all these damn streets? Right, left, right, right. Park here. Cut the lights off.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Listen,
you think this is I Spy or something like this?
I went to a gas station, parked in, and the cop went to the gas station and still pulled me up. I was pumping gas. I'm like, damn, man. I thought it was the Lord. I said, it's the Lord. Because I was on Fredericksburg. Yeah. Right from the old brother's house.
That block is always hot.
I'm pumping
Fredericksburg
gas.
is always hot.
And he saw me pumping gas. I'm just pumping gas in my own business. And he pulls me over when I'm pumping gas. I haven't even drive now. And then he said, come out. Let me see you real quick, man. Let me see your ID. You have a license? Registration? I said, yeah. And he saw my ID. And I was smiling real hard like this. And he looked at
You
my...
smell like Kodak Black.
Yeah, I was doing a Kodak smile. Like, don't arrest me. And he saw my ID. He said, get out of here. And he laughed and let me go out. But
Listen,
like-
these stories are gold. I don't care what anybody says. This is platinum story time.
listen. But this is one of the only times the Spirit let me off. Because normally the Spirit will give me a warning. They give me a warning. I know it's a warning. I say, I'm good, y'all. I'm good. I'm too slick for these cops. They can't follow me. I'm too slick. I'm Judah. That reminds me.
That's a true statement. I don't care what nobody said.
I'm Judah. I'm gonna get through this.
I'm that 2.5. He's better.
I'm gonna get through this now. I'm gonna get through this, right?
Oh.
But then the point is, other brothers, no license, riding dirty, no insurance for years, nothing ever happens to them ever. So what I'm saying is, different arenas of life, people get away with all kind of different problems because they look at people purely.
Yeah.
But whenever I'm negative, for some reason the cops love to pull me over and put the cops on me. I'm not going to jail that night, but they're like, listen, I just want you to know Most High is upset with you, so I'm trying to give you a message from God.
And that's how the Most High measures you and meets you based off how you think.
It won't have anything to do with you though. It is be the Most High.
It has to do with how you look at people.
He'll put
He
that
mirrors that situation to your life.
Yes.
We'll go more to that next week. Is that?
Yeah, I had got pulled over one time a while ago up here. A cop pulled me over at the gas station, pulled a gun on me.
Damn.
But right before that, I called myself helping my friend who got a gun put on him, and I was going to look for the guy who did it.
There you go.
And on my way to go look for the guy, I got pulled over.
He's like, here you go. Here you go. Look at it. Here you go. Look at you. Here it is. This is you. Here, we're going to bring it closer to you. And that's what the Most High does. He does this all the time. Next week, if we can get to this class, we'll go about that next week. How the Most High shames us in the same reflective manner of how we shame the Most High. We went over a little bit a couple Saturdays ago about how the Most High sat back here and attacked Antiochus Epiphanes' bowels because he lacked bowels in regards to dealing with our people. He lacked mercy and compassion. That's what bowels means. Because you lack mercy and compassion to Israel, I'm going to give you a sickness, an incurable sickness in those same bowels. This is how the Most High checks us. If we can't see the good in the people around us, they're going to have all the people that we're counting on be evil towards us. This is why it is so important that men like David and Paul try to teach us to hyper-focus on how we think and look at people, because that's what makes our life either worse or better. But what Israel will do, they don't want to focus on that. I'll focus on fringes. I'll focus on t-shirts and stringy clothes and gatherings and killing animals a certain way and learning how to kill animals and not sit back here and be the best butcher on earth. Israel wants to be butchers, but I want to butcher that beast in them.
True.
This is true.
That's like cooking a phenomenal meal for your husband and then talking to him like he's like
that happens all the time.
Like he's a little boy. Like he ain't never been a man his whole life. Like he ain't never raised a man.
He's never been a man in his
like, I'll give you the best meal in the world. Trust me. I got to cook good. But I'm talking like you ain't never been a man. I don't know how I met you. I don't know how I met
happens
you.
a lot of times.
I kind of hate you, but I can't live because I don't want to die. I'm only here because I don't want to die.
Yes.
They're like, well, I'm only here with you.
I'm here to I'm here not to die.
I don't want to go to hell.
But that's how we treat God.
We treat the Most High that way.
Anyway, let's go back. So we got that prophecy angle, right? So listen, read that. Karai, give me that blue letter Bible definition of prophecy again. Prophecy.
I got it. Okay, kind of prophecy. Blue letter Bible. It says, point I. It says, under like prompting to teach, refute, reprove, admonish, comfort others.
Now listen, a lot of times I was told about admonishment is about correcting and correcting and correcting, and admonishment is about correcting Israel. But I want to bring a point about admonishment. Let's get the definition of admonish in the 1828, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is the one. Admonish.
Admonish.
Hold on, let me get there too. Okay, admonish. Let's do number one.
Admonish, 1828, Webster Dictionary.
This is important because we're supposed to get this knowledge. We're supposed to work on these spiritual faults in us and pursue spiritual gifts with the intention to teach and to admonish, right? Read on.
Admonish, to warn or notify of a fault.
We're supposed to warn and correct people and notify of weaknesses in them. Read on.
To reprove with mildness.
You're supposed to correct with mildness. How many people corrects with mildness? We correct emotionally. That lets us know how detached we are from God. Because Israel thinks keeping it real means you got to sit back here and be a beast. and how we talk to one another and be disrespectful and rude and hateful when we talk to one another. He says even if there is a problem with somebody, you have to be able to tell them this in a mild, controlled, loving spirit. And that's the problem with the Jew. This is why there's always arguments at the house. This is why brothers can't connect with each other. This is why the brother's house is always infighting. This is why children and parents don't connect with each other. This is why marriages don't work. Because nobody knows how to convey a problem with respect and mildness and love behind it. There's always sarcasm. You're always tearing people down. There's always destruction behind your message. And I always say, well, my job is to correct. My job is to teach. Isn't that the cop-out and excuse we use? We use, our excuse for being hateful is that I'm supposed to correct, right?
Yeah.
That's the excuse for being a hateful person. So when we want to sit back here and correct hatefully, then the Most High asks people around us be hateful to us. He says to admonish. I'm supposed to admonish mildly, with mildness. Can we learn how to sit back here and explain how we've been hurt mildly, with respect? And we got to be niggas when we sit back here and explain how we're hurt. I'm from the streets. I'm keeping it real. That's why the Most High is not with you, because you're keeping it real. You've kept it real for too damn long. Keeping it real hasn't awarded you the Lord's favor. So you're supposed to correct with mildness. Can you convey a message? Can you convey how frustrated you are with some self-control? But we want the Most High to give us mercy. We want the Most High to be mild on us. But I can be a beast and a water beast towards my nation, towards my family. So, read that definition again. Number 1.
Admonish. To warn or notify of a fault.
You know, the people that love you, we're the most disrespectful too. That's what's crazy. We'll sit back here for the white man, respect him and kiss his ass because he's the boss. But I don't have no respect for my brother, for my husband, for my wife. Person that's carrying all this load at the house, all you got is venom and hate towards him. And we expect God to love us and bless us? Who the hell do we think we are?
Most times not stupid.
He's not going to bless you for nothing. I don't love a goddamn person around me. The people that give me the most and has looked after me the most receives the most hate. But you expect the Most High to give you mercy? Who the hell do you think you are? And then when you don't get mercy back, oh yeah, I know you didn't love me. But you don't know how to love the people around you that's doing the most for you. You lack that ability, and then when it's shown back to you that you don't love them, then you're mad that you was hated on.
I'm a victim.
What kind of craziness is this? What kind of psychotic issues do we have in our head? We're literally crazy to think we can sit back here and be destructive at home, show hatred to people at home, and then think the Most High is not going to be hateful to us. That's ridiculous, huh? So, go to Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha, 19 and verse 17.
God.
We have a lot of damn work to do. We're really sick. And we're flabbergasted that we don't get blessed. That good don't happen in our life.
Ecclesiastes
That's crazy,
chapter 19 and verse 17.
We are tripping out. Ecclesiastes chapter 19 and verse 17.
Ecclesiastes 19 verse 17. Admonish thy neighbor before thou threaten
He
her.
says, before you start threatening people, why don't you talk with a mild damn tone? Why don't you learn how to respectfully communicate to somebody before the nigga comes out? Why can't we learn that? He said, before you start threatening people with a threatening tone, a disrespectful tone, why don't you learn to mildly talk to somebody with respect? To learn how to be cordial with somebody. He's like, there's no reason to threaten people off rip. But that's what we do.
Yeah,
That's what the street tells you.
Yeah.
Because that's that hate, that's that malignant spirit in you that the first thing you do is threaten.
Yep.
That's how you know how detached you are from the Lord. Read that verse again.
Ecclesiastes chapter 19, verse 17. Admonish thy neighbor before thou threatenest.
Learn respect and mildness before you start calling people out of their name. Before you start calling them four-letter words and disrespectful base communication. Let's learn that first. Read it again from the top.
Ecclesiastes 19, verse 17.
Some folks either have this shit in their notebooks, on their door slabs. If you got a problem with it, you need to be written out so you can remember this verse. Read on.
Ecclesiastes 19, verse 17. Admonish thy neighbor before thou threatenest.
Mildly talk to a person about the offense before you call them out of their name and disrespect their family. And then read on.
And not being angry.
And he says, and not being angry. Can you sit back here and stop making it about you?
Because we don't read the Bible.
This is the point. We don't read the Bible and we're selfish. We're sensual because all we focus on is how another person makes you feel. If a person is wrong, if a person is negative, the scripture says, let not the sun go down upon my anger. I still have a responsibility to not be angry. And I'm going to explain what this means. Continue.
Give place to the law of the Most High.
Can you allow the Lord to intervene and teach this person the lesson they need to learn? So before you got to be a nigga to sit back and defend yourself? If you were wrong, fine. You were wrong. Can you allow the Most High to teach this person a lesson? Why do you got to be the person that says the threatening, hateful words to defend yourself?
Because it's about you.
Because you're a selfish person.
Not the Lord.
That's the point. If a person has offended you, why don't you sit your ass down and let the Lord take care of them? No. The spirit, the demon in you does it. The negative in people have to respond and threaten back. If we learn how to read the Bible, we learn what? Sit down and let the Lord, the Most High, take over. That's what you're supposed to do. Instead of getting emotional, getting effeminate, the lesson is sit down and allow the Most High to intervene. But that's not how we think. That's not what street dudes do. That streetness in us, that street nigga in us, gotta do something, gotta say something, gotta operate something, gotta move, gotta do something.
Pride.
It's all pride. But if we learn what being selfless is, we have enough faith that if a person has wronged us, you can bring it to their attention, let them know in a mild way, don't get angry, don't take it personal, step aside, and let the Most High do what? Let the Most High take over and teach the lesson. Do you believe that God is real? Do you believe that He is a rewarder of them that what?
Diligently seek Him.
If you believe He's a rewarder of the people that diligently seek Him, then you'll trust He will defend you in time. David sat back here, was on the run for 10 plus years, and trusted the Most High would remove Saul. That's the lesson. You don't got to take matters into your own hands to remove yourself from your situation. Be patient and let the Most High teach you how He defends you. He's telling you there's not a situation in this life where you got to sit back here and make it about you. Maybe the Most High's got to teach that person the lesson he got to teach. But when you sit back here and you're threatening, now you're to blame too. And the Bible says, cast out the scorner and what? And that's what you got. That's the next result. Get this guy out of here that's threatening people. Because the threatening doesn't change and fix the problem.
Got to pull one scripture?
Yeah.
Proverbs 13 and 18. See, the Most High knows how to break Israel because, listen, all this rap battle, I'm not rap battle no more, bro. You know me. I'm done with the argument. I've been done.
19 and 13?
Oh, 5, yeah.
Okay.
Where is that? Where is it?
You said Proverbs 19 and 13, right?
13, 18.
I
Yeah,
couldn't-
13 and 18.
I said it. I know.
Yeah.
That was me. I heard it wrong.
I started realizing the scripture right here. I started arguing, bro. I used to be very argumentative myself. I used to want to debate and go to war and all that stuff, and rap battle and conversation with people out. But you gotta realize the Most High has everybody. He has everybody on the clock.
Good.
And this is the Most High deals with men and women. They don't want to listen.
Proverbs 13 and 18.
Poverty
and shame.
Stop. Next week's class is about shame coming up.
This verse is coming out. This verse is coming out next week.
But people don't get it. I didn't know that, but
it doesn't matter.
People don't get this. Most High he breaks men with poverty
and embarrassment.
I got the second part, but I'm trying to focus on the first part.
Okay,
because the first part is some men can deal with embarrassment. Some men can handle embarrassment.
But I think the poverty is part of shame.
True, but I gotta say this. I say this, when it's poverty is when you don't have what you need.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily money. People think money is
it's not your God.
There's people that have lots of money, but they don't have any relationships.
Yeah.
So people look at money as wealth. That's simple, shallow thinking. Wealth is whatever resource you need, you have.
You have a poverty of friends.
There's brothers that no matter what I do, I can't hold on to a friendship. And no matter how hard I try, I can't maintain a friendship. There's people that have that issue, but they have a pocket full of maybe 500s at will. They're not broke for nothing.
Yeah.
They got bread. But what I really care about, most Highs won't give you what you care about. That's the poverty.
Yes.
You don't get it. Some people want a relationship. They want an interpersonal, connected, emotional relationship. I'm talking a love angle.
Yeah.
There's friendships, there's love angles, and some of us want their personal time. And Most High is just never going to give you the time that you want to be with you.
You're not get enough.
You'll never get enough.
Satiate
you. You're not going to be fulfilled. Because I'm going to give you poverty, meaning a lack of fulfillment.
Yes.
Because, read.
Come, poverty and shame.
A warrior will break the shame down. He got probably 3 classes for you on that one. I'm just hitting the poverty angle.
Let's go.
Because people think poverty is money. Poverty is you never have what you need.
You know?
For your spirit. Read.
Poverty and shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction.
So the people that don't accept or follow instructions will have this big vexing hole or void in their heart.
But who's in control of not giving that person or creating the poverty?
The Lord.
The Lord is. Why do you gotta wild out and be a nigga and talk about how you're messed up? Don't you believe the Most High is gonna defend you? If you are blameless, step the hell out the way and let the Most High create the poverty.
That's what he does.
That's the point. Why do you gotta sit back here and speak your 2 cents? Who the hell are you and why do you matter? Why does your emotion matter?
Yeah.
Why does your irrational statements, why does that matter? It doesn't. So get yourself out of the picture, take a seat, and let the Lord teach the person what he got to teach him. That's the lesson.
But Israel can't get past their pride.
Exactly.
And that's why people inherit the poverty and shame.
And you know what isn't happening? Let me explain this. That means when the threatening kicks in and the pride kicks in, now the Most High brings both sides poverty.
Yeah, simple as that.
If you just would have shut your mouth and stayed in the background and held your position, you wouldn't have to face the poverty either. Now you're going to get stung with the poverty, just like the person that's harming you has to sit back here and experience the poverty. Now both people get stung.
You always see Buzz that when Buzz buck up, talk crazy, 2 weeks later, for some reason their vehicle just can't drive.
Yeah,
I've seen that. When Buzz buck up and talk and trip out, then they come to counsel, their car flips. Buzz cars flip and break down. Buzz talk crazy and their ribs bounce. Their Buzz talk crazy, their heart start wanting to pop in their chest. But Most High touch what you care about.
Or people go to jail.
Or people go to jail. And there's different men that some men don't really fear their car breaking down. Somebody, who cares? A car's a car. Some are like, oh, my rib dip, who cares? I'll get a new rib. Most High get you a different direction.
Yeah. He'll get where it hurts.
He gives you the poverty where you care. That's the scary part about the Most High.
Yeah.
But that's to those that refuse instruction.
Yeah.
That's why if you don't know how to properly communicate the right way, if you don't know how to properly interact the right way, Most High will teach you, and you'll come to your senses when you're in the midst of your poverty. when nobody answers your phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
No people want to engage with you. When your health is not getting better.
Yep.
When the white man look at you with that clipboard and say, "Hey, I know what we can do. All I can do is just give you some etc."
Yeah.
But I'll see you in a couple
They
weeks.
just numb your pain.
I'll give you some etc. I'll see you in a couple weeks. It's not going to get any better.
Yeah.
We don't understand what kind of poverty Most High brings to us. We just think it's money or a job. The poverty is you don't have what your soul needs.
Because you can't get out of the way of your own emotions and your pride.
Yep.
That was good. So listen, we got that Ecclesiastes. We'll go back to Ecclesiastes 19. Ecclesiastes 19:17. We'll go through that again. Then we'll go to the next verse. Verse 17. Read that.
Ecclesiastes 19 and verse 17. Admonish thy neighbor before thou threaten him, and be not angry. Give place to the law of the Most High.
All he's saying is, learn how to mildly let brothers know how they're negatively affected. This is not about trying to teach Israelites to say nothing. We're not trying to create robots and zombies in this truth. If people have affected you negatively, if you've been offended, cool, you've been offended. But why do you have to sit back here and lose control and be disrespectful and threatening people because you got offended? That lets the Most High know how immature and emotionally unstable you are. Because all you have to sit back, let's look up threaten real quick. So the Most High says, threaten not. He says, before you threaten somebody, talk to a person mildly. Let's look up the first definition of threaten.
Threaten, 1828. Point number 1. To declare the purpose of inflicting punishment.
That's what the Jew wants to do. If they feel hurt, then they got to sit back here and make somebody else feel what they feel. Before you sit back here and feel that, you got to make somebody feel hurt and feel pain like you feel pain. Why don't you just mildly talk to somebody? That's what beasts do. Listen, we also about beast law. My dog's Shadow and Axe are in the backyard.
Yeah.
If my dog Axe is putting his body on Shadow too much and it's pissing him off, you know what beast law says? Bite this nigga, man. Ow! Yeah. That's what my dog Shadow, he'll bite him. And that in his dog language is back the hell off me. I want some space. You're pissing me off. Now, a civilized dog, I would imagine, is to walk away and go in a separate place. But that's not what my dog does. He's old, he's ornery, and if Axe, he's full of energy, and he'll hear me come to the front, and he's moving around, and in the midst of his moving, his big tail hits Shadow in the face. His backbone will hit him, and Shadow was kind of unstable because he's older now, and he'll sit back here and be like, and he'll just bite him. I'm like, damn, why you gotta bite him like this? What's your problem, man? But that's what Jake does. Jake wants to make you feel pain because they feel pain. That's what animals do. Animals sit back here and threaten. So all Shadow was saying from his bite is, I'll bite you more if you keep pissing me off. I'll bite you in a place where you're not going to like it. And I'll hear him actually kind of like be afraid. Because that's like his big brother, right? So he's afraid of his big brother flexing on him. So animal law has just been, the animal law has been passed.
Yeah.
Back off of it. Or he'll sit back here when I bring the food down. I'll sit back and give Shadow his first one because he's the oldest. And I'll put Axe on the next one. But what happened is, Shadow will sit back here, eat a little bit of his food, and then look at Axe's food and say, I know Axe ain't going to eat my plate. So I'm going to go eat his plate. That's jail stuff, right? So he'll sit back here and he'll rush over to his plate and Axe will run off. And that's jail. That's threatening. I want what you got. And I'm going to make you feel, I'm going to have you walk around in fear because I want what you want. I want what you got. And if you sit back here and don't give it to me, I'm going to bite you. That's animal law.
It's dog law.
That's dog law, animal law.
Beast law, yeah.
That's beast law. But that's what Jake does in the truth. You piss me off. Now I'm going to sit back here and respond from being disrespected. And I'm going to threaten back. I'm going to declare the purpose of inflicting punishment. I'm going to make you feel pain. Because you made me feel pain. That's animal law. Read on.
God. It says, to declare the purpose of inflicting punishment, pain, or other evil on another.
Because you did me evil, I'm going to give you evil back. Or if I perceive that you've done evil to me or you're going to do evil to me, I have to sit back here and do evil to you. That's what animals do. That's not what godly men and godly women do. Read on.
God. It says, for some sin or offense to menace.
And to be a menace in a house. Somebody give me menace real quick in 1828. Not Kariah. To be a menace. Read on. Kariah.
Menace?
No, somebody give me the menace.
Menace, to threaten,
There you go. What else?
to express or show a disposition or determination to inflict punishment or other evil.
That's what it's all about. It's about sitting back here and I have to make you feel the hatred I feel. He's telling you that that's not how we're supposed to deal with brothers in this knowledge. People that we say we love. People that we say we respect. Let that go and go back into
one point.
yeah.
Prayer of Vanessa's, real quick. Prayer of Vanessa's.
Okay.
It says, I am bowed down. Doesn't have any number on it. You gotta read it. I am bowed down. It's the second paragraph.
God, I'm looking for it. You said the second paragraph?
Yep. The second paragraph, fifth line. Or fourth line in the second paragraph. The right paragraph in the red book, the fourth line in the second paragraph.
If you got it, read it.
We whoever got it.
God. I am bowed down.
I am what?
I am bowed down.
Now Manasseh couldn't wake up to himself. He didn't get it. There's some people that don't get it. They don't click in their brain. So this is the result of when it doesn't click in your brain. Read.
I am bowed down with many iron bands.
That's how the Most High deals with beast. King Manasseh was a beast. When you read his history, how he dealt with everybody around him, and the prophets, he was beastly. So the Most High said, because you're a beast, how do you deal with beast? You gotta tie them down with many iron bands. Read.
That I cannot lift up mine head.
So King Manasseh was in prison. Read.
Neither has any release.
He couldn't come and go as he pleases. Read.
For I have provoked thy wrath.
Men are looking at men, and they're not looking at God. When the Most High is offended and the spirit of wrath comes, the way he deals with men that they don't click in their minds to consider him is he puts them in iron bands. We've had many men in the camp over the past years have been in this situation for 10 to 15 years. We had stories about this.
Mm-hmm.
That brothers, it didn't click in their mind. So Most High created scenarios where they were put in iron bands.
Yeah.
Read.
And done evil before
He
thee.
said, yeah, I provoked your wrath, and I did evil before you. Read.
I did not thy will.
I didn't do what you want me to do. What's the will? The will is how you communicate to people,
Mm-hmm.
how you interact with people, following the instruction of the word.
And the will of the Lord is to let the Most High do this. Let the Most High defend you. Let the Most High sit back here if there's such an egregious thing happening in your life. Let the Most High intercede and defend you. You got more?
Neither kept I thy commandments. I have set up abominations and have multiplied offenses.
So the Most High puts us in this scenario because we're the ones that multiply offenses. If you want freedom and that's your treasure your freedom, then he's going to take away the freedom. If it treasures your health, he's going to take away the health. If it treasures your opinion, he's going to find a way to make you so embarrassed that you can't have an opinion. You can't even talk. You can't speak up. Look at your situation. That's what the Most High does it. On that angle you were going, the direction you were going, considering how the Most High recompenses us for how we recompense other people.
And we'll go on to more of that next week if we got at least dent this one. So,
Yeah, I'm done.
Let all that go and go back to 1 Corinthians 14. And we're going to go Matter of fact, it's 1 Corinthians 14. We're going to jump to verse 3. It's not 1 through 3. It's 14, verse 1 and 3. So we're going to go read verse 3. Give me verse 1 again so we can just recycle it real quick and then jump to verse 3.
1 Corinthians 14 and 1. Follow after charity and desire spiritual gifts.
So we're supposed to learn how to give for free and desire spiritual gifts with the intent to do what? These spiritual gifts are working on what's inside of you. So we have the capacity to do what? Read on.
But rather that ye may prophesy.
With the intent to prophesy. But prophesying is what? Is to prompt and to promote teaching, refuting, reproving, admonishing, and comforting one another. Now let's jump to verse 3.
Verse 3. But he that prophesieth.
So no, the person that comforts, that teaches, that reproves, that admonishes, that refutes. Read on.
But he that prophesieth speaketh unto men to edification.
What we're supposed to do is teach and speak to men under the purpose of edification, to edify. Let's get the definition of edify. Somebody besides Karai, he had to step out for a second. Edify.
You want blue letter or?
I want regular 1828 edify.
Edify.
Edify, to build in a literal sense, to instruct and improve the mind in knowledge generally.
This is really the spirit behind counseling and teaching. Do you counsel brothers? Do you counsel your wife? Do you counsel family members with the intent to actually build them up? Or do you counsel and communicate with people around you to let them know how disgusted you are with them? And this is the problem with the Jew. When we communicate to one another, we want to convey and express how we're disgusted with one another versus counseling and teaching with the intent to build. If a person is a messy, if a wife keeps a house messy, how do you sit back here and build up this person's confidence or skills or approach to get them to be better at the house and be less messy? Sitting back here and expressing your disgust for how messy they are, is that how you get the most out of somebody? To sit back and make a person feel low because they're flawed? That's what we do, though. We sit back here and make people feel low. We give people less confidence because they're weak at something. We tear them down. We make them feel small because it's about us.
But want people to be sensitive to my flaws.
That's
the hypocrisy behind it.
That's the hypocrisy. In
That's
an arena where I'm weak, you got to understand that I'm just weak. You got to understand I'm just emotional. I love hard. That's bull crap. If you want to sit back here and you expect somebody to change, then you better show that same ability and mobility to change yourself. And if you really sit back here and want to teach somebody, how can I build this person up while correcting them? Because most people, when they get checked, most people just break down, shut down, and clam up. How can I sit back here and correct and build up and inspire at the same time? And if you can't do that, maybe you shouldn't be put in a position of correcting people.
How about that?
That's the point. This is why men can't get ranked very easy here. Because if all you do is tear down, criticize, like if every 5 minutes I'm hearing brothers in an argument, and who's the head guy here? Who's the point man running an inspection? Who's the point man at the job where there's always a goddamn argument? Is it just the wicked underlings? Is it always that guy? Maybe it's how the head guy talks to people. Maybe that head guy initiates conflict and arguments and doesn't know how to build up the people around him. Maybe that's a part of it too. This is what we're explaining is how officers, how people that are learning how to be husbands, learning how to be brothers, you have to think in this position. How can I build a person up with my correction? How can I make a person, after this conversation, want to be better? If that's not your thought going into the correction, then guess what? Don't say nothing. Don't correct nobody if the intention behind the correction isn't to build somebody up and strengthen them and to make them enthusiastic about changing. Then why are you speaking up in the first place? Just keep your damn mouth shut.
Because it's about ego.
Because it's about ego. I want you to know how disappointed I am in you. You see how that ego comes in when you want to correct? You want to make somebody feel bad because you're pissed. If I'm vexed, the whole room has to be vexed. If I'm angry at the house, then my wife has to feel discomfort. I don't feel better unless she's walking on eggshells. That's how you know you have a immature, base level, emotional approach to counseling. You're a child. Because I have to have the capacity to deliver a message, not make it about me. Because the only way you're going to build somebody up and edify somebody is because when you realize it's not about you. When you counsel and detach yourself from how you feel, now the message can be pure and the message can be uplifted. But if you don't feel happy with this person, how do you build a person up?
Hey, can I say this?
I'm going to say this. If you don't feel happy with how a person treated you, how can you build a person up? The only way you can build a person up is if you learn that it's not about how they make you feel. It's never about how the person made you feel. That can't be a part of the equation of developing somebody. If you can learn that, you can edify people. Yes.
And I got this quote Kawakaba on this, bro. He brought it out, and it was just clear as day. He said, when people they're overcome with emotion, he said that emotion is Satan. And I'm not going to say that's 100% facts.
That's facts.
Because the reason why you know the emotion is Satan, because it always leads to negative outcomes.
It's a destructive outcome.
It's a destructive outcome. So
the thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy. So if the message is destructive and the outcome is destructive, that means Satan worked through you to be destructive. Because that's all Satan does, is he knows destruction, he steals, and he kills. So if the outcome of your emotional outburst was destruction, just know Satan is rolling with you. And if you are prone to being destructive with your communication, just know Satan flows to you quite often. That's how you know how frequent Satan rolls with you, based on how quickly you can be destructive. That's how you know Satan rolls with you quite often. And he's in you more than you think you are, than you think you're spiritual. This is why the scripture says, wisdom will not enter into a malicious spirit. The Holy Spirit of wisdom won't enter into a spirit that is quick to entertain Satan. So when you go home and you're destructive to your wife, you're destructive to family and friends, just know Satan is rolling with you. When what's in your mind is to destroy and tear down more than build up, just know that's Satan that wants to destroy. Because being in the Spirit of Christ edifies and builds. It sounds simple, but it ain't. Because we lack the capacity
to perform,
to sit back and perform the spirit of building people up around us. Because if I'm not getting what I want out the deal, then I'm going to destroy and be satanic.
It says right here in Luke 22:3. Then Satan entered into Judas, surnamed Iscariot. So Satan transfers into people.
Yeah, all Satan did is, I'm going to sit back here and fuel. I'm going to come through Judas. I'm going to push into Judas what's already in him to destroy.
Yeah.
That's how Satan entered into him. The intent to destroy Christ manifested itself.
Yeah.
Do you think Judas all of a sudden said, I got Satan in him? No, he got angry. He got pissed off and wanted to hurt and threaten Christ. And that's how you know Satan's in you. When you want to destroy and harm people, or you want to see people harm, or you want to see people fall, you want to make people feel bad. Yes, because I'm Yeshai.
Scripture says that the Holy Spirit of discipline will feed.
That's what I said earlier. If you got the spirit of wanting to see people fall, that means whatever good was in you is out of there now. That means, listen, That means more of Satan is in you than Christ.
That's 1 Chronicles 21:1. 1 Chronicles 21:1 says, and Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel.
Yep.
So the emotion that's provoking you to be destructive is Satan.
It's Satan.
That's what the Bible says.
Or the emotion that you feed.
The emotion you feed.
You're feeding Satan.
Yeah.
It ain't like Satan, Diablo, comes out of nowhere and jumps to your body and you're possessed, like in Thriller.
Yeah,
No,
it's not
you're
true.
emotional, you're hateful, and you fuel it, so you're choosing Satan to dominate you. So now Satan can flow through you to perform his will of destroying whatever is in his presence.
Which is division, divisiveness, all kind of negative
No statements right now.
interactions. All negative
That's the
interactions are fueled by Satan. People don't slow it down and look at it scripturally.
God.
That's why I love the topic we're on to, because it's showing you if you do it the right way, Christ flows through you.
God.
But if you do it the wrong way, who's flowing through you?
Satan.
It's either somebody's doing something.
Listen, Romans 6 says, listen, man, you're going to be a servant to somebody.
Yeah.
Either you're going to be a servant to the Lord, or you're going to be a servant to Satan.
Yeah.
So what do you choose to allow? What spirit do you allow to flow through you and make decisions? Either I'm going to have Satan flowing through me, and the results of my acts are going to be destructive, or I'm going to have the Spirit of Christ through me, and the results are going to be positive. Listen, if my wife is at the house walking on eggshells, guess what I just did? Satan flowed through me.
So,
If my wife has confidence, is feeling better about herself, and has a greater desire to change, then guess what? My message, Christ flowed through my message.
it comes from a force.
A force. What force are you feeding? What force are you fueling? And that's the point. If there's a discomfort at the house, that means Satan was flowing through me, and I fed it. So just understand that emotion, that hatred, that strong hatred that we play with is satanic. Yeah, no question right now. What scripture are we at? Initially it was 1 Corinthians 14:3, but where did we go after that? Did we go anywhere after that?
Oh,
we broke down edify. We explained what edify was,
That's
and it was premonitions that Dalia pulled out.
yeah. And then
I think we were just talking. The scripture.
It was just Luke 22:3 and 1 Chronicles 21:1.
I think it was a Luke 22:3.
Luke 22:3 says, then
Yeah, that was what it was. Luke
entered
22:3.
Satan into Judas, surname Iscariot. And that it says being of the number of the 12. So it was the 12 disciples. He was on point spiritually, but he fed something in himself that allowed Satan to enter into him to be destructive.
Satan flows through you when you choose to make the destructive, emotional decisions.
And then some people say, "Oh, I see talking about Judas." Well, we can use King David. King David is in 1 Chronicles 21:1. You can use Judas or you can use David. It's always Satan if it's destructive,
Yes, that's the point.
if it's divisive, if it creates contention,
It's
if it
from the
creates-
spirit of Satan.
if it dissembles. It's from Satan. And all Israel does is when they want to feed.
You know, we don't realize
with
that.
their ego.
What we don't realize is that Satan flows through each and every one of us.
Yep.
When we're emotional, when we're hateful, we want to destroy.
Yep.
Satan flows through you just like Christ can flow through you. So the question is, are you entertaining Satan or are you fueling Christ? And that's based upon the choices you make and how you look at things.
We always get
And this is why we can sit back here and have 1,000 Bible verses but still be satanic as hell.
That's
Still
a
be
fact.
black-hearted as hell. Because we lack the capacity to build people up and truly edify people.
because I'm not choosing Christ.
Because I'm using the Bible and I'm being satanic with the Bible.
Verse what?
Yeah.
James 3 and verse 14 through 15. Just saying the same point.
Oh. This might be a part 4, y'all. I don't know if we're going to get through it, dog.
Go rock and roll down.
3 and what? Through 15?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was looking at 13, but yeah.
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. I don't know.
Hey, bro, this is how it goes.
Read verse 13 as well, because that's the verse.
Can't rest the
So
soul.
James 3.
And rush the spirit out.
James 3 and 13 through 15.
James chapter 3 and verse
13.
13 reads, "Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you?"
What he's doing is he's going to show and divide what characteristics a wise man has versus a devilish man. It's going to show us two different diverse actions. Read on.
Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom.
So a wise man has the ability to be meek or to disperse understanding with his meekness instead of dispersing understanding with his frustration.
Well, don't forget, what is meekness? A lack of ego.
Exactly.
It's to endure injury without resentment. But we went into last week, that meekness is you're egoless.
Yeah.
And I show my eagerness. That's how I can show how I'm connected to the Spirit. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're on the point. The lack of ego, the lack of pride, having the ability to pull from Christ, which is that meekness understanding. That makes a wise man wise. Read on.
But if ye have bitter envy and strife in your hearts,
If you have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, read on.
glory not and lie not against the truth.
Because we'll say we're spiritual and we're wise, but we have a lot of malice in our heart, a lot of malice in our mind.
So that about the glory, it says glory not, because we'll sit back here and be destructive with our words and have no compassion about it.
Yeah.
We'll sit back here and tear down our family, tear down our wife, destroy her self-esteem, make the entire house miserable, and not feel bad about it at all. Not have no contrition at all. Not feel sad that, man, I didn't build this person. All I did was destroy this person because I'm angry, because I want to throw a fit.
Yeah.
I want to huff and puff and blow the house down because I can, because I have the power to.
I'm inconvenient.
And I don't choose restraint and discipline. I choose emotion and hate and destructiveness, and I don't even feel bad about it. This is where he says glory not. Don't sit back here and act like what you're doing ain't destructive.
And to add on to that, I'm not going to go to the verse, but the one thing that the Most High commended Ezra on is Ezra, in 2nd Ezra 8, he says, I'm just going to read it. And that thou hast not humbled, and that thou hast humbled thyself as it becometh thee,
Yes.
and hast not judged thyself worthy to be glorified among the righteous. So part of glorifying is I have all this negative in me, all this negative conversation. I'm destructive, but I still think I'm righteous.
Yep. Because I checked them, and I have the right to correct.
Exactly.
I have the right to pull these verses. I have the right to defend myself.
Exactly.
I have the right to sit back here and tell this person that they're wrong. I have that right in Christ to speak up and stand up for myself.
That's native glory.
That's the point.
Yeah.
You might have the right to speak up, but you're judged based on how you speak up.
Yeah.
You're judged based on how you communicate, how you correct. Yeah, if you don't like how the house is, then can you respectfully let a person know what's going on before you start threatening and being sarcastic and destructive?
Yeah.
Can you sit back here and learn how to control the hatred in you before you convey a message?
Yeah.
Yes, you can speak up, but how you speak up is how you're judged. And how you speak up determines how connected you are to Christ or how not connected you are according to Christ, despite how much of the law you know.
God.
Or how much of the law you follow. What good is following the law if you know how to tear people down and all you do is listen, what is it showing you? I can have the law. I can follow the law to a T and Satan can still roll through me.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Easily.
That's what it's showing you. You can follow the law, follow the Sabbath, do all that stuff, and Satan can still work through you. Because Satan can work through you because you're destructive.
Because you conduct. Listen. Electricity flows through certain metals.
God.
There's certain metals electricity can't flow through. I'm conductive for the spirit of Satan. Because you're attracting.
That's why I keep saying people are so hell-bent on killing animals. They're so hell-bent on gather this, gather that, wear the strings on the clothes, which we do. But they sit back here and miss the meatier parts of the law. The meatier parts of the law is, do you allow Satan to flow through you with your sarcastic, destructive nature and communication? Do you build up the people that you're responsible for? Or do they sit back here and walk in fear amongst you?
Yeah.
Are you Stalin in your house with the law? At least Stalin didn't believe in God. Cool. And that, I understand why you're Diablo and you're killing people off and stuff like that. But you claim you follow Christ and you're Stalin.
We're stumbling block.
Yeah. That's the point. And all I do, I justify my hate and how I justify Satan flowing through me because I got scriptures. And I can pull scriptures on you and check you about your conduct.
So
but at the same time, never take the time to see how Satan flows through me on a daily basis. And Satan flows to me based off how I feel.
Yeah.
If I feel good, then I'm going to be nice. If I'm angry, now I'm going to let Satan flow through me.
Yeah. You're going to conduct Satan.
Yeah.
He's not jumping in you. You're attracted.
You're channeling Satan.
He's like, oh, this dude opened the door.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm in.
This dude's calling me.
Yeah.
Okay, let me do my thing then.
And do you think once they're in, they leave?
No.
No, they're still there. Because you brought them in. You gave them a place to stay.
Yep.
You gave them some walking around money.
Yep.
Now they're sitting out here walking around strutting, not living their little, doing in your house. Yeah, you were that stay in the house talk. And you skateboard, you skating and stuff out.
Thank you for calling me.
Staying alive,
Yeah.
staying alive.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing, huh? That's what you're allowing Satan to flow through you.
To riot at noonday.
Come on. But I know the law. I know the law, though. And I walk around thinking that's what the Spirit is.
I'm a smart guy.
And that's why he says don't lie against the truth. Because the true spirit of Christ, we're gonna find out what it is. We're gonna keep reading. Actually, we're going to go to 18. I lied.
No, you're good. We're good.
Keep reading.
We ain't getting this. We can't do this class any damn way. There will be a part 4.
That's all.
I don't know what to say, bro. I'm trying.
Try.
Read again.
Right?
Verse 15. This wisdom descendeth not from above.
This is not Christ's wisdom. This way of thinking and operating does not come from the Most High. This comes from somebody else. Read on.
But is earthly, sensual, devilish.
And devilish. It's earthly, it's sensual, it's the world's way of operating. The realm of Satan. This is why, when you come in the truth, there's supposed to be a distinct difference between how men talk in the truth with one another and how men talk in the world with one another. Why am I coming in the truth and seeing the same characteristics in here? The Most High is not going to back that or honor that. What he wants to see is that wise man who's operating the spirit of Christ. We're going to find out what that looks like.
Real quick, I want to pull a verse on that point. Read Ecclesiastes 19:22. We're going back to your point, I promise.
Yeah.
Ecclesiastes 19 and 22.
Ecclesiastes chapter 19, verse 22. It says, the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom.
The knowledge of how to talk negative to people and condescending is not wisdom.
Yeah.
No.
I'll pull a verse. I'll pull a Bible verse, but it be in the complete spirit of worldly, condescending communication. That's not wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What good is pulling a correction and trying to give a person a spiritual solution with condescending sarcasm and hatred behind the verse? What good is sitting back here and tearing out a person's spirit if you're pulling? What good is correcting a person if you got hatred and a worldly way to deal with people behind it? That's not wisdom. That's not the Spirit of Christ.
That's no different than a Mason holding scripture. People don't get this. When you have people that are Masons in pulpits, having full churches, and teaching the word, they might sound good to themselves,
Yep.
but to Christ, Christ knows the man.
Done.
Brother, you don't believe in this. You're just using the church as a business. Because this is a business for you. Church is also partially a business.
And that's how you know the spirit of counselors is dead, when they're including their vices, their emotional hang-ups and sicknesses and their insecurity.
Yeah.
You'll see a man that's insecure about who they are, and their insecurity is presenting themselves behind a verse.
Yeah.
And they say, hey, you must follow this verse. What about the insecurity behind it? The pride behind it? The hate behind it? The emotion behind it? What about that? He says that's not wisdom. That's not the spirit that Christ wants us to communicate with one another in. Read on in verse 22.
It says, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudent.
What's the counsel of sinners? Raising their voice?
Yeah.
Being violent?
That's the counsel.
Almost coming to blows in a conversation?
Yeah.
Instigating violence with one another? He says that's not prudence. I don't give a damn how many verses you quote in the midst of your destructive behavior. That's not how prudent, connected people to the Spirit deal with one another. So there's never a time to emotionally be out of pocket, to emotionally be destructive to the people, or psychologically destructive to the people around you, and just because you pulled a damn verse, don't make it right. You see why we got to keep going over these topics? Because each damn time we go through it, it gets another layer of how sick we are and how we justify our emotions and our pride, and we manipulate we manipulate people into thinking that's the word of the Lord. We mix the word of the Lord with hate, disrespect, condescending nature with what we're supposed to be doing. It's through the message of correcting and teaching, removing how you feel out the deal, so all you're doing is building this person up. And I'm going to say, sisters, if your husband's talking this way, bring his ass to counsel, so the bullshit can be shown, so everybody can see it. Because that's not Christ-like. Neither is it Christ-like that brothers treat brothers that way. Bring it out in counsel. And don't worry about how he is going to treat you when you get home. Because if he treats you different, then bring it back the next day. So every day we get a chance to sit back here and deal with that disrespect ourselves. So maybe if we keep putting pressure on this person to change, maybe he'll change or he'll bounce. I don't care. That's what has to get done. Either we're going to keep putting the pressure and they'll change and see the error of their ways, or they can kick rocks. Everything's going to be okay anyway. Because the word, at least Christ is defended. But we can't help you if you don't sit back here and speak up. Go back to your verse. I'm sorry.
Come, James 3, verse 15.
James chapter 3 and verse 15 reads, "This wisdom descendeth not from above."
You see how it ties right into verse 15.
Okay.
How Israel, I'm sorry, you said that. That's your
No, it's
You got
your
it.
point.
Oh, you good? You good.
It ties right into verse 15.
That's my point. Read verse 14 again.
It's a 15.
Oh, 15. I'm sorry, yeah.
James chapter 3 and verse 15 reads, "This wisdom descendeth not from above."
And you know it doesn't, because the nature behind it, the spirit behind the correction is not pure. There's the underlayer. Why am I checking this brother? I really don't like this brother. This brother actually ticked me off right now. He got under my skin. That's why I'm reacting the way I'm reacting. It's not out of the purity of I want to see this man succeed. And you know it's not, because I can't stand him after the correction. I don't want to be next to this man after the correction. I need to separate myself from this person, because this person caused me anxiety. This person gives me stress. This person brings up those same furious emotions again. So I need some time. That's how you know it's not pure and it's not spiritual. Read on.
But it's earthly, sensual, devilish.
And what it lets you know is people can have devilish intentions mixed with Bible verses.
And this is why Christ said, follow the Pharisees, but don't do what they do.
Yep.
Because they have devilish tendencies. They have serpent-like tendencies.
So follow the verse, but don't follow their actions.
Yeah. Because their actions will lead you down the same devilish path. Their actions lead you down the same hateful path. Then you'll be 5 years, 10 years in, well, I'm only treating this way because that's how I was treated.
Yep.
Well, that's still not spiritual. But we use that to justify our actions, because we're like, you know what, if we got done this way, then
it's still sensual.
it's sensual, and it's earthly, and it's devilish.
That's how you know it's not of Christ. Because it's sensual.
So once again, this is what we're supposed to be working on all the days of our life. We're supposed to learn how to talk to people like you talk to them at the gatherings.
Okay?
At the gathering, I love you, brother. I love you. Everything is love, love, love. Kwame Ashala. We're gonna sit back here and ride to the end to defeat the wicked Edomites.
Brotherhood.
That's all you. That's all you hear at the gathering, huh? He said, "Why don't you sit back and talk like that to your brother when you're tired and it's 5 a.m. and you're frustrated? Do it then.
Yeah.
Talk to him then, the same way you want to sit back here and drink beer and say 99 bottles of beer in the wall, $99 a beer.
Yeah.
Singing damn beer songs and stuff like that, huh? Chug-a-lugging. When you're partying with them, be brothers with them when it's hard. A brother is supposed to be made for what? Adversity.
But
when there's adversity in your life, Diablo comes out.
Yeah.
And disrespect comes out. Anyway, I'm sorry. You want something to say?
So you got 18 last show?
Yeah. I want to get down there, because it goes right
Go
there.
for it.
Have some with you too.
Here, reading 16.
James chapter 3 and verse 16 reads, "For where envy and strife is, There is confusion in every evil work.
When there's envy and strife, you know there's Satan involved. When there's envy and strife, there's confusion in every evil work. That's how you know Satan's involved. It's not the spirit, which means correction shouldn't end in strife.
Done.
Correction shouldn't end in more confusion, more discontentment. Correction end in, okay, you know what? I learned a lesson. Both parties had to be humble. If both parties are humble, the person receiving the correction can understand, you know what? I see where you're coming from. But at the same flip, the person who's giving the correction, if they're operating or correcting in the right spirit, it won't come off brutish.
You're not going to instigate fighting and
You
argument.
won't instigate it. You won't instigate the argument. Read on, verse 17. It goes right into it.
But the wisdom that is from above is first pure.
It's pure. The intention behind it is pure. The intention behind it is God. You remove your emotion from the situation, which is why it comes off agreeable, which is why it doesn't turn into a strife, an argument. Keep reading.
Then peaceable.
It's peaceable, not contentious, not argumentative, not hot. It's peaceable. So the information I'm giving you, the Christ I'm giving you, will result in peace, not strife. Read on.
Gentle.
Gentle. It goes right back into admonishment. Admonishment is a gentle correction. It's not a brutish correction. It's not a reproach. There's a difference between the two. Keep reading.
And easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy.
Read verse 18.
And the fruits of the righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace.
The fruits of the righteousness. Your fruits will be known if you're a man known to make peace or to cause confusion and strife. The fruit of your tongue, the fruit of your conversation will be known based off of the results that it bears. If you're constantly in arguments, if you're constantly having strife, if you're constantly having contention amongst men, that is the fruit you bear. Sensual, earthly, and devilish. If you're a peacemaker, if what you say is easily entreated or understood and accepted, then that's the fruit that you're producing. You're producing the spirit
It's
of Christ.
easily received.
Easily received.
The message has got to be broken down and chopped down enough to where the message can be easily received without any offense tied to it.
Yeah.
That's how you teach with mildness. That's how mildness looks like. It's chopped down and it's digestible enough for the person that you're teaching to receive it.
Yeah.
And that means you got to sit back here and work on you to make sure the message is dropped in a way that a person can receive it and understand it. And be motivated to tackle it.
Yep.
You got more of that?
That's it.
And what you're saying is what 1 Corinthians 3 and 10 says. 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 10.
1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 10.
Now, I don't think we do enough of this. Read that.
God. According to the grace of
Matter
the
of
Most High.
fact, read verse 9 for it to kind of make more sense.
1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 9. For we are the laborers together with the Most High. Ye are the Most High's husbandry. Ye are the Most High's building.
We're the Most High's husbandry and we're the Most High's building. Our job is to sit back here and tend to all the children, all the Israelites, all of the livestock, all of the crops. Our job is to sit back and to attend to the people that need the attending to. Because when you're on a farm, your job is to sit back here and make sure the crops get to where they have to get to. The animals are fed. The farm is running properly. And we're the people that are being taught and learning scriptures so we can give our life to this husbandry. Read on.
Verse 10. According to the grace of the Most High, which is given unto me as a wise master builder.
He says Christ gave Paul the capacity to build and set up the template of how we're supposed to run and be responsible for the flock and for the husbandry that the Most High each gives us to be responsible for. So he says all of us are given responsibility to the flock. But he is the wise master builder that has the understanding to give us the template of how to run our schools. Christ's example, Paul's example, He's used all those lessons he learned from studying, being that Pharisee, being retaught by Ananias to learn how Christ operates. With all that understanding and his works that open up those 7 churches, now he's got the template of how to run the churches. And he's passing down the template of how to run those churches to us. Read on.
God. I had laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon.
So it's our time to build on top of the foundation that Paul laid down for us to follow.
But it's the issue.
But in the next verse, you're going to explain it. What you going to think?
Either you're laying the proper information and stones that that's agreeable to the foundation that Paul's giving, or you're going against that foundation too.
Yeah, well, that's what the next part of the verse is. That was the point. Read on.
God. But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon.
You have to take heed how you're building the flock. Are you destroying the flock? Are you inspiring the flock? And it says you have to take heed how you're building. Another word for building is what?
Edifying.
Thank you. You have to take heed how you're edifying the students that you're responsible for. If you're not head of a camp, you have to take heed how you're developing your wife, how you're developing your kids, how you're developing relationships with the brothers or sisters that you're working with. Do you really take heed how you talk to your children? Do you really take heed how you talk to your wife? Do you really take heed how you talk to the brothers around you every single day? That's what we're responsible for. We're responsible for how we communicate, how we inspire people, how we take these scriptures every day to be a positive impact in one another's lives. Do we even give a shit how we talk to one another and how people are receiving the message we give one another every single day? The sad thing is more than likely we don't. All we care about is getting through the day so at night we can go home and do what the hell we want to do. And that lets you know how spiritually detached we are, because we really don't take pride in how we talk to people, how we develop one another, how we inspire one another. We're just so selfish, and we only have enough in the tank to satiate us. So when that's the case, everybody else gotta suffer, because we're me people. And we really don't care what charity is really about. Because if it's really about charity, then it's how you give. It's not just the fact that you gave. It's how you gave. How you committed yourself. How you helped somebody. How you worked with one another. How you showed love to the people around you. If it's really about edifying. Let that verse go. Go to Romans chapter 14 and verse 19 through 21. Huh? I did it already. Yeah.
Romans chapter 14, verse
Could have
19.
sworn I did. Maybe I didn't push the button. I didn't put the button. Put the button. Push the button. But I typed it. I just didn't send it off. Okay. I'm ready, man.
Romans chapter 14, verse 19.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm not ready. I get the verse.
Go.
Romans 14.
19.
Push the button, not push the button. Read that.
Come, Romans 14 and 19. Let us therefore follow after the things which make for peace.
So, on top of the fact that you know you're an Israelite, you know what tribe you're from, do all that stuff, what's the focus should be, let us therefore follow after things that make for peace. That's what our conversation should be about. That's what our mindset should be about. That's what everything should be about. How can we sit back here and inspire peace in our conversations, peace in our counsels? We're almost done, Yeshua. It's so tight. Peace in how we deal with one another. That's where the focus should be. Read on.
And things wherewith one may edify another.
So he's letting you know that teaching and counseling in the spirit of peace and building with a person go hand in hand. I got to build you up And one of the key components of building a person up is maintaining peace and camaraderie in the midst of me correcting you or developing you. That's how we're supposed to correct and teach and edify. Am I building you up in the midst of the correction? If I am, now I'm doing it the right way. That's how husbands should be towards their wife. Problem is, sometimes husbands take their wives too personal, and then the building up process turns into tearing down. And that's when Satan flows through us. Same thing when we did with brothers, how sisters did with other sisters, and how parents did with their children. We're more focused on, I have to communicate to you based on how you make me feel versus communicating to you in ways that maintain peace and development and the building up of a person's spirit. Continue.
Verse 20. For meat destroy not the work of the Most High. All things indeed are pure, but it is evil for that man who eateth with offense.
He said it is evil for us to partake in these godly works when you're offending the people around you. He says everything's supposed to be in the spirit of purity and pure intent. But it becomes evil when you sit back here and talk and communicate and counsel offended. Read that again, verse 20.
God, from the top. For meat destroy not the work of the Most High. All things indeed are pure.
Okay, because the meat is talking about the greater understanding and responsibility that you try to convey to the people around you. That's not evil. Okay, all things, the message is supposed to be pure. What I'm trying to teach a person is supposed to be pure. Read on.
But it is evil for that man who eateth with offense.
What this is talking about is the student. It's evil for the student to take this message and to receive the message with a negative outlook. That's what that verse is saying. I'm not supposed to eat means to partake and to receive the message. It's evil to sit back here and receive a message, to receive a counsel, to receive instruction, and be offended at the message at the same time. I have to be able to take a check and take correction and see the good in it. This is why it doesn't matter. The person who's getting taught has a responsibility to see the good in the message, and the person who is teaching it has a responsibility to be in the spirit of building a person up. Read on.
Verse 21. It is good neither to eat flesh, nor to drink wine, nor anything whereby thy brother stumbleth, or is offended, or is made weak.
So on the flip side, the person who's receiving the message can't be offended by the message bringer, what he's bringing to the table. On the flip side, the person who's bringing the message has to be conscious of how his conduct or her conduct offends the next person. If both sides have enough respect and love for one another, the relationship can maintain peace. But the person conveying the message, when they're conveying the message, has to be focused on how I'm talking going to get this person to stumble from the message? Is how I'm acting going to offend this person to where now the message can't be received? So when I'm counseling somebody, I have to be conscious of the fact that is how I'm talking to this person going to get in the way of them learning? If it is, let me not talk to this person in a way that's going to make them miss what the message was supposed to be in the first place.
The intended point.
And if I fight my tail off to deliver the message in the clearest and purest way, then that student has no justification to be offended by it. But you see the amount of work it takes to really develop somebody? The level of humility it really takes to teach a person? That's the work we got to do. And all that, and what it requires to fix in us. This is why Paul keeps teaching about the inner man. You have to really break what's inside of you to really be a valuable tool for your nation. Read on.
22.
Did I say? No, I didn't. One more verse. 1 Corinthians 8:1. No, it's getting late.
1 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 1 reads, Now as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge.
We know we all have knowledge of being negative. We all have knowledge of how to move in the world that has been successful for us. And in the world, it's all about protecting yourself, guarding your feelings, not trusting, loving folks from a distance,
Self-preservation.
not trusting anybody, self-preservation. We all know how to do that. Read on.
Knowledge puffeth up.
Now, the problem is this. A lot of our people still hold on to that worldly knowledge and then still learn the knowledge that we have in the Most High. So we start learning the ways of the Most High and still have this worldly knowledge of how to process
I won't
things.
cut the world knowledge off.
And the only way to break the worldly knowledge that we have acquired from our youth, once we get this knowledge, there's only one real way to help build us up, to build the teacher, to build the person that has this puffed up knowledge. Listen, so what is he saying? I don't listen. He's saying here that the knowledge that puffs us up is the what? Read that again from the top. I didn't explain that as clearly as I needed to. Read verse 1 again from the top.
1 Corinthians 8 and verse 1 reads, Now as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge.
So this verse is talking about the knowledge of the worldly ways of doing things.
Idolatry is a worldly knowledge.
Yes. So we talk about worldly knowledge. So read on.
Knowledge puffeth up.
So what knowledge is he talking about? That worldly knowledge puffs up. Now we've used that to explain that the knowledge of the scriptures puffs us up, but it really don't. Because if you really understand the Spirit of Christ, you're not puffed up at all.
You don't
The worldly knowledge puffs you up. Not world history and geopolitical analysis. That don't puff you up. Worldly knowledge of how to do things in the world puffs your ego up.
Your previous successes in the world that you had information based on,
That worked
you were
for you.
masterful and skillful at.
That
Now
puffs your ego
You
up.
transition from the world to the truth, and you want to hold this character that you were when you were in the world. I was top flight. I was a top flight lieutenant when I was in the world, and now I'm in the truth. I'm a damn servant. Well, bro, I don't tell you. Then go back and be a lieutenant.
And the only way this is how the Most High breaks that ego and that overconfidence about what we learned in the world. Because we all have our own ways that we're overconfident in the world. So how does the Most High sit back here and teach the person
I was a doctor
who thinks
cool.
they were something in the world? Read on.
But charity edifies.
What the Most High breaks you is you got to keep giving every day. Giving. Giving builds.
and investing.
What he said, giving to the next person and committing your life to others is what builds you.
Yep.
Is what breaks down that knowledge that puffs you up. That dynamic of having to give every day when you don't feel like giving. That dynamic where you got to sit back and consider other people before you talk. Consider how your actions are going to affect somebody before you make moves. And when the Most High keeps putting that pressure on you to consider others before you operate, that is what builds you up. So how are you going to teach people how to build? How are you going to build people up yourself if you haven't accepted the dynamic in yourself that the only way you're going to grow is by giving, by considering, by putting yourself in other people's shoes? A lot of Israel has problems with being narcissists, with being ego-driven. The only way to break that narcissism and to build your spirit up is to continue. When you feel a certain way, detach how you feel. How you feel doesn't matter. Think about how they feel. Think about how they feel. If you want to get closer to the Father, stop making decisions based off how you feel and consider how what you're going to say makes another person feel. And if you can continue to practice that, that's how you grow, and that's how you build your spirit up, and that's how the Father destroys the ego that's inside of you. So if you want to grow, and you're just frustrated and you're emotional, Stop that feelings, because that feeling doesn't matter if you want to get built in Christ. Because that's what the knowledge of the world teaches you. Let me feed the emotion. Let me feed my anger. Let me feed my pride.
Flesh.
Let me feed my desire to detach from people. Either you have the introvert. Another word for introvert is selfish. How about that? The introvert is selfish. The extrovert is selfish. The person who talks a lot is selfish. The person that doesn't talk at all is selfish. It's all pride and it's all selfishness. So in the grand scheme of things, go opposite of the selfishness in you. And the way you do that is to consider others more than how you consider yourself. And that's how you can build your spirit up. And that's how you can make sure that there's no offense to the people that you're working with. So even in your teaching and how you move, if you're really about the law, be about the understanding of the law. And the understanding of the law is I'm supposed to treat my brothers and sisters how I want to treat them during high holy days. If I'm going to show love and see the good in Israel at the temple, let me do the same thing when I'm not at the temple. If I have a clear mind and see the good in the Lord at the school, why do I look at God differently when I'm not at the school? Make that your focus, and you can grow, and there can be peace around the people that you work with on a daily basis. I'll let it at that. I'll go at that. We're going to shut it down for class today, y'all. We'll continue this on next Monday. Love y'all. Shalom. Got it on Wednesday. All right, y'all. Shalom.